You are watching Omnis Protocol, and I'm back with another list focus. I am Charles, also known as Omnis, and I am here with Kevin, or affectionately referred to as Sith Emperor Kevin in many of these circles. Hence, the Sith Collective is in your honor over here. How are you doing, Kevin?
It's beautiful. It's great to be here. Doing fantastically. I love this. Excited to hang out with you, and yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Recording on Christmas Eve, getting to nerd out with Kevin. This is going to be a highlight of my week for sure.
Right back at you.
This is our first time recording together.
It is, yes.
Oh, exciting!
Savor
Christmas
the miracle.
Moment. All right, so I'm super excited to talk about your list because we haven't done Mace. And we have not done Luminara, which are both super cool. I've got more experience on the Luminara side, but you've got Luminara with Aurra Sing and 501st, or did I switch it?
No, you got it. Right? That's absolutely correct.
Okay. I was like, I wasn't actually looking at your list. I was like, I think he's putting 501st with on that side.
Yes.
And then you've got Mace Windu with Crosshair and the ARF troopers. So initially, what was the goal concept of this list? How did this come to be? Like, what was the inspiration?
The goal is, since the update in May, I have been playing Mace probably more than, well, not even probably, just more than any other primary character. And this year in general, I really kind of pivoted hard to Republic, especially when Kiadi came out in the early part of the year. Fair. I had mostly been running a very defensive shenanigan list with Kiadi Mace. OB2 was in there, and I was just focused on like defensive movement, all that fun stuff. And then I hard pivoted because I just wanted to murder stuff. And I was like, okay, let's go back to that, because Mace is still like my go-to first pick. Luminara, I have a lot of practice and a lot of experience with as well. And she rewards a lot of different variations of playstyles. But I was like, let me just take two primaries that can just kind of do their own thing, help support the team in certain ways, and then the rest of it is just gunline murder. And that's what I built it around. And turns out Republic's pretty good at it. And really, this list revolves around my secondaries. That's the most important part of the list.
I love it. So just like kind of surface level for me, looking down at this list, having never played this exact version, but I like a lot of the pieces here. It seems like you're like, hey, I want to kill stuff, but I want to be rewarded for killing stuff, which is where Luminara kind of comes into play. And then also, I think the word attrition gets thrown around a lot, referring to like general wound focused lists. But I always thought of attrition as not the like glass cannon sort of things. Attrition has that element where you're like, I kill at a better rate than you. Like, I'm also have a degree of defenses, which also is where Luminara comes into play. Where like, oh, you're getting a kill, but I'm topping off this other character, or you're negating things like Aiden's handing out strains and that sort of thing. So is that kind of the design philosophy, that this is kind of a core attrition list?
Yes,
like
attrition in the truest proper sense of the term attrition, which, yes, I completely agree. It is damage with the ability to sustain incoming damage as well, and kind of tank through that or recover through that. Turns out this list is good at both, so that's why I have those pieces in there, is because, yes, I can put out high amounts of damage, but I can also weather a lot of the storm that's coming my way, and that will eventually, inevitably, tip the scales. That's the focus I was going for.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It seems like this is a list that has like some staying power, where even in a longer game, it can like push through to a win. And it's like, there has been other things we've talked about on the shows where it's like, this list does not want to play a long game. This one certainly feels like it can. But you had mentioned that the secondaries were kind of at the forefront of the power of this list, which is really interesting because we're in an era where that's very rarely true, right? We're in a supports leading the way, or primaries leading the way, and secondaries kind of have fallen into a tertiary spot. So kind of explain, like, what about these two secondaries kind of push this list forward in a big way?
So turns out they're both really fucking good at killing things. I adore these two. So Crosshair I've been playing for a long time, and he's always been exceptional at long-range murder and getting, obviously we know, like, pinging people for damage, stripping hunker tokens is really good into people who do kind of thrive on the use of hunkers and just getting to get that ship damage through. he's pretty reliably throwing those 10 dice attacks, which I love. Now, Aurra can also get to that as well, because expendable distraction in a very tanky, like, primary team, like, my primaries are trying to be in people's faces. Mace wants to be there to expand that bubble to protect people. Lumi is also in there because, well, at the end of the day, nobody wants to attack Luminara, especially when she's in her defensive side. You're just like, I'm just going to ignore you. So if I got to chip some damage off her and give some dice to Aurra so that she can get more dice, land more damage, these two are so good at killing things at a range. Bonus points to Aurra because she can double tap 2 different targets, if that's kind of the route you're going for. Now, they are pretty front-loaded with damage. I think that's a big pull for me with Aurra specifically, is she can hit those high damage thresholds very early in her tree. My dice, not great. Okay, I might average like 3 successes every time I attack. That's being generous. Like, that's on the high end for me. So I have to plan around that. Her being able to comfortably get 5 or 6 damage 3 steps into her tree with a little expertise is very reliable. The reason I have the 501st on that side too is because that coordinated fire strain gives her access to another point of damage 3 steps into her tree, and she enters that like upper echelon of characters where you can get 7 damage 3 steps in because of coordinated fire strain. That's amazing.
Big deal.
Like, that is a big deal. Like, she's going to reliably kill things, and you can even get lucky on a 5 dice attack on a different target and get a couple steps through. And that between 5 and 7 damage on a 5 dice attack, just a few steps in, is kind of psychotic, and I love it. And it really helps fuel what I want to do, because that kill means literally anybody else can get in a better position. My gunners can get in a better position. Mace can get somewhere else to expand his bubble of protection. Lumi can get moving because she's slow as hell. We all know that. I love her. I adore her. She does everything except move quickly, and that's okay.
Just thinking off the top of my head, I want to make sure that I have the order right. I was just thinking, Aurra Singh could shoot, kill something, utilize the Luminara trigger to then dash an ARF trooper to get them into range so she could supporting fire dash?
Yes, that is correct. So there's a lot of movement tricks and shenanigans that you can pull off. That all depends on like order of operations for when you do things. But yeah, you 100% could do that. It's really fun. Again, Aurra is really had a glow up from the update. And her being able to, obviously I'm taking the Galactic Republic tag, like that's a no-brainer. Yeah. That's what she's doing. And her working kind of within the confines of the Republic is actually been really effective for what I'm going for this list in particular. Now, the other thing I will say too is we talked about like attrition, and yes, it is about being able to put damage out, but you also need to be able to weather the storm as well. Obviously, Mace Bubble, awesome. Who doesn't love Protection Steadfast for everybody on the team? Like I said, people don't want to attack Lumi already. If Lumi is in the Mace bubble, like, I feel like she's just ignored. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And if you are brave enough to attack her, like, best of luck to you, like, trying to knock her out. But Crosshair has pretty good defensive expertise. Aurra's is bonkers. I don't know the last time you've attacked Aurra without being able to expose her, but 1 expertise being able to effectively nullify 2 results and she dashes is not nothing. And especially if you get her in range of Mace, attacking her is kind of also pointless. And so like Crosshair and her are very durable, and they're hard to one-tap outside of extraordinary luck or just those characters that can't just like sail through a tree and kill someone, like Jedi Hunter, right? But that's Vader. Like, that's fine. But even then, he can kind of be a little shy of what he needs to take them out because of that.
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about with like how this would play, right? Because Aurra Singh definitely has great defenses. And one of the things that you generally want with Mace is the ability to get him back into engagement, yes. Right? He will get force pushed off, something like that, and then suddenly his bubble turns off. She can kill something, move him into a position to turn the bubble back on, and then she could be in the bubble for a revenge attack. And with her expertise and protection and steadfast, there's a really good chance that a 5 dice attack does nothing.
It just works. It just all works so well together, and I've been having such a blast with it. So I was like, okay, this is good. Like, it can kill. The supports are no slouches either. Like, Republic having access to 2 really great units that are 3-cost supports. Obviously, ARFs have still been good, even losing Coordinated Fire Exposed. I actually think supporting Fire Dash is infinitely better. Like, that's a hill I'll die on. So I think that update is definitely
infinitely better. That is a hot take. They're both very good. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, but the movement, I just value movement over exposed. That's just what it comes down to. Like, so, and they can pack a punch and they can still pin and move people. And 501st are definitely really good at also killing. So there's a lot of murder here. Now, Mace, I do love being able to pivot because I always
Before we jump back to the primaries, let's talk a little bit more on the supports. I don't think we have to dig too deep into the supports, but since you brought them up, you're running 2/3 costs. Your really only other option would be to run fills, which I do think are slightly underrated, but that would be more. I play them sometimes with Vader 1. I don't think fills fit the bill here.
They don't fit what we're going for.
Right. But there is the side of the board consideration. And so how did you come to the 501st are on the Luminara side, ARFs are on the Mace side?
I landed on that for two reasons. One, again, 501st being on the Lumi side means that Aurra has access to coordinated fire strain so that she can hit another pip of damage on that third step into the tree where she's got 2 damage and strain. So being able to, reliably get 7 damage on 3 steps is going to fuel my game plan. And that's absolutely something that I want. And then inversely, having ARFs over on the other side means that Crosshair is able to take a shot and then get into a better position. And maybe he can take that, long range shot at somebody and then use supporting fire dash to put himself onto a midline point afterward. So I can be engaged after I've shot. That's totally fine. I don't care. Same thing for Mace. Mace can be in a position where he is making a ranged attack just for the sake of throwing dice to trigger that dash and maybe get some follow-up shoves through his tree as well, so he can get locked into a good spot. So that's why ARF's over on that side with him.
No, that makes total sense to me. I was just curious if our brains were in the same spot for it. But yes, I like all of that. All right, now let's pivot over to the 2 primaries, right? You've got Mace and you've got Luminara here. I think the synergies are obvious in general, right? You've got killing power with Mace, but you've also got durability. We've already talked a little bit about what Luminara brings to the table. But I'm kind of curious with reserving, because obviously you've got Luminara's ability to look at the top of the deck. Is this something where you do tend to reserve Luminara if she comes up early? Or do you have when you activate Mace, are you willing to just put him on a point even if he's not attacking? What's your plan on when to activate the primaries?
That's a great question. So Mace is somebody who I'm happy to just get up there. If he can attack somebody, cool, with his ranged attack, because I always start with him in Jedi Master. I pretty much live in that almost exclusively, unless I really need to secure a kill. So if he's just getting up onto a point, that's fine. And he's hanging out. If he's my very first activation, okay. But I will reserve pretty early on just so that I can start to utilize Flow of the Force as early as possible. For me, this list again is all built around the secondaries. So if I pull one of them early, they're immediately going in that reserve spot. I'd prefer for one of them to be there because I want Crosshair and Aurra to wait for the right time to take somebody out, because they are kind of the linchpin in that whole plan.
Are you generally waiting until something is softened up a little bit? Because I know both of them have great damage, but sometimes these 9 health targets, you just don't reliably hit it, and it feels rough when you don't. Do you like them shooting softened up stuff, or do you, want to just...
While I would prefer it, sometimes I'm just in the mood for trying to kill something and get lucky. That's just what it comes down to.
Ride the dice lightning.
Yeah, it's basically in the heat of the moment, I'm like, okay, do I want to try and one-shot this person? Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. Or yes, do I want to wait? I would prefer they've taken a little damage for my supports, maybe got a pin or a strain somewhere in there. Awesome. Easy to finish off. But I am not against just throwing them up there and being like, you know what? Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, continuing the train with the primaries, it sounds like this is a case, because I will sometimes see people make reserves when they're first player, first turn that I don't like. This seems like a list where you do need to be willing to put Mace or Luminara and just go, it's okay that they don't make an attack. I'm happy with them just getting onto a point and being hunkered and starting off that, contesting war there, so that you don't get stuck where, I reserved Mace, pulled Crosshair, which is worse.
Yeah, we're not trying to do that. So yeah, if my primaries come up first, they're first up the board. I mean, it's thematic too, because it's like the Jedi Masters getting into the thick of it.
They lead the way.
And foremost, they lead the way. Awesome. They're also weirdly like my worst attackers in the list, like for consistency of damage. Because at the end of the day, supports that can shoot, yes, they can't. It's two different attacks. So even a couple steps through, like they're still getting a considerable amount of damage versus one attack from a primary. Lumi is pillow fisted and will never do damage. That's fine. She doesn't need to. She does everything else for the team. Mace, again, I'm always typically in Jedi Master, so I'm not really fishing for damage. But it's nice to have it if it's available. Yeah, they're historically the worst attackers. So yeah, if they're pulled first, they're going up the board. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Also, full heal is a really powerful ability on Luminara, right? When you get to use it, when you have a character who has 6, 7 damage on them in multiple conditions and you just heal them to full, but it costs 2 force, and Republic has often over the years not had great force economy, but this feels like a list that can genuinely like go, I might force heal if Luminara comes up late in the deck, but you also have it to like spend 4 dice on Mace. So this feels like a list that genuinely may use the full heal. Is that something that you've seen in
I historically use it list? At least once a game because I have the force to afford it. Again, with Mace just kind of living in Jedi Master, in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm effectively functioning with 9 force because I know I'm going to pull Shatterpoint. I know that I'm going to go with whoever I'm going to go with, and Mace is going to recover 3 and then get 2 force back. 9 force in a list, and they don't typically need to spend a lot. Lumi can spend 1 for the dash. That's great.
Yeah.
My ARFs and you know my supports or whatever can use it for a defensive maneuver. Mace doesn't have to spend any if I don't want to. I rarely ever will do that unless I need it. So what, I'm spending 3 force on 4 of my models already. Crosshair uses 1. You use 1 on Aurra. That's 5. I still have a lot of flexibility there.
Yes.
And I can afford, when things do start to get wounded, to still be able to pay for certain things. So force is really not an issue here. And yeah, I am able to comfortably use a force heal, especially if we talk about this like trading blows with attrition and sustaining myself. If Aura's getting pretty, in a dicey spot, she's close to dying, there's nothing more insulting to your opponent than just completely healing her. Or Mace, or any of those targets. Getting a full heal between my primaries and secondaries is just a slap in the face to the opponent. And I love it. I'm always here to slap around. Like, that's just... it's a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I comfortably always have the force to be able to use that.
This definitely seems like a list, if you haven't played it before, you could easily, like, if you treat it like a normal list, you end up with like 3 force that's available to you when you're about to shuffle your deck, and you're like, well, that was a waste. And so... kind of understanding that this list has a different economy seems kind of essential into getting the most out of it. But let's talk mission. What mission do you prefer with this list?
So I just prefer sabotage with this one. I'm just trying to get in the donut of death. We're trying to make it happen. It's also the most fun scenario for me out of all the 4 missions. Like, I just have the most fun on it. I played it the most. I have no reason to want to stop. And I feel like the thing I probably don't want to do is never tell, because I also just hate never tell. That's just that hasn't changed since it came out. Yeah. I can play on it because, again, it's like I can get kills at range, so it's not hard to move people around still, but it's not my favorite. Any of the others I'm fine with, but yeah, I'd prefer to be at sabotage.
Yeah, if you get the bonus momentum for secondaries, that can definitely feel good.
It does. And I have the force to spend for that. So that's why I'm like, this is probably one of the lists I played in like the last, year or so where I'm comfortable playing Never Tell if I'm forced into it, because I have tools to take advantage and capitalize on what that scenario wants to do.
No, makes total sense. It's one where at least I know that you're like, I don't really want to play it on Never Tell, but your opponent might also be going, man, with that list's ability to get kills from like different, character slots, Never Tell could really backfire on me against this list if I don't get out to a really dominant lead right away. So I do think that that's an interesting flip for this. Do you have any thoughts on what you would want to pair it with? Like, what would be the rest of a premier list, like something that helps cover this weaknesses or gives you a break in play style?
Now that depends on if I'm going full Republic, like all on with that, which historically is what I have been doing. So keeping it to that lens, yes, it's like there are ways to pivot because I can still pivot to a more defensive focused or like control-y list. I could just do, a Kiadi.
Yeah.
Basically, Kiadi box is an easy plug-in because that will, paired with Mace, allow you to have plenty of force to be able to control people, move stuff around the board, do all the stuff, right? Have some discounted abilities because there's a bunch of Jedi in there. So yeah, absolutely one way you can go. In my mind, Obi-Wan is not a terrible flex either because it could just be an Obi-Wan Rex. I mean, you can go Tekko, you can do 2/12, whichever you want, really whatever you want at that point. And that can work because, again, Obi Mace is still pretty consistent in what it does. And it's a really fun pairing into another like Obi mirror because having Crosshair with Mace means that I'm taking away their hunkers and I'm getting to keep mine. It's pretty sweet. So that's probably one way I'd go if I was going like a full premiere.
Oh, that makes total sense. Well, do you have any closing thoughts if somebody watches this and is like, oh, I want to definitely try out this list? Do you have any like key advice if someone's about ready to dive into this particular strike team?
Yes, your primaries are not the centerpiece of this list. It's okay to throw them up the board. It's okay to get them killed. And it's okay if their attacks are dog shit because everything else will pull its weight. I promise you, it's a lot of fun. They're just there to provide their identities to the team and make sure everything is running smoothly. Awesome. And don't be afraid to use Aurra to expendable distract any of your primaries, do some extra damage to them for the sake of the kill.
We kind of glazed over that part, but I do like the expendable distraction synergy. I was thinking about it when we were talking about Aurra. I was like, man, both of your primaries, people don't want to attack. You could easily expendable distraction them. And then when one of your support dies, you just heal them back to full anyway.
Yeah. Heal their Mace when I Shatterpoint because I'm a Jedi Master. So both my primaries have ways to get 3 recovers. So it's not...
Yeah, it's really not that big of a deal.
No.
Yeah, very, very cool list. I'm glad we got it in there. Somehow, doing all of these, I have not restricted people to choosing different than what's already been done, but we've so far gotten all different primaries.
We love
There's
variety.
Been a little
here.
bit of so good variety. Kevin, thank you so much for doing this. I know you do not have a Shatterpoint podcast at the moment, but you are occasionally on Hello There. But
Yes.
you got some Halo action.
A lot of Halo action. Yep. A lot going on at Jesse and I's podcast, Truth and Reconciliation, a Halo Flashpoint podcast. So tons of fun. Check us out there. I'm starting and running an entire campaign, like a narrative team campaign for our entire patronage, like our Discord group or whatever. So that's going to kick off at the end of January. I've got more information coming early January. So yeah, it's going to be a huge team campaign. Come sign up.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to close things out here. You should definitely go check out Truth and Reconciliation. Love both of you guys. So got to absolutely support the shows. And the most OP thing that you can do is try out Kevin's list. Later, nerds.